welcome to Face the Music, little trip down memory lane to remember some music from the past and some music from the present. Today I thought I would play for you some music where the bands have colors in their name, something a little random. And I've started off today with Pink Floyd. Now they're legends, right? British rock band, been around since, I think they were formed in the 60s. They're, millions and millions and millions of albums sold. And this is part 2 of Another Brick in the Wall from the late 70s. For my peers, for me, this is the best known. Like, this is the Pink Floyd stuff that I know the best. I don't really know the other stuff. Although they did have massive selling albums before this and after this, to me this is sort of Pink Floyd. They seem to have had a bit of an acrimonious relationship over the years and have said they're never going to reform again. Actually, a couple of guys have passed away in their noughties. But then just very recently they said there's going to be another album released, a studio album based on material that was recorded in 1994. So for the Pink Floyd's fans out there, you can watch for that. Anyway, this is Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 by Pink Floyd. These guys are legends, really. I don't need to say much more, I don't think. Now I'm going to move on to an American band that I think most people are familiar with called Green Day. And this is from their mid-90s album called Dookie, and it's called When I Come Around. And Dookie was their most commercially successful album that they had. It wasn't their first album, it was their first on a major label. So these guys were formed, they're a punk band formed in the late 80s. Gradually, I think over the years, they've just kind of morphed into having had a lot of mainstream success to the point where there's now a Broadway show based on their music, like several other bands have done. But they have become, they're still, producing music and, still working. They are one of the best-selling groups of all time. They've sold so many albums. That's a great song. Went to see them in London back in the 90s. It was a really good show. They pulled some guy up out of the audience to actually play with them. So he's probably never washed his hands since. He touched one of Green Day's guitars. It's probably a real highlight for him. Anyway, now I'm going to move on to a band called White Town and a song called Your Woman. From 1997, and White Town is essentially one guy. He's of Indian descent but lives in the UK. When he first started making music, he had various other artists that played with him, but I'm guessing they've all kind of fallen off by the wayside due to creative differences. And he's also had a falling out with his music label, so he does things a lot on independent labels now, and I think he might even have his own label. Anyway, this is White Town, Your Woman. I don't think he's done much else other than this, although I think he's still working in the music biz. He was asked in an interview at one point, how does it feel to be a one-hit wonder? And his response was, it's better than being a no-hit wonder. I thought, there's a glass is half full kind of guy, Always looking at the positive side of things. move on to, I've got two whites here. I didn't even realize that till now. Maybe next time I'll put through some other colors in there. This is the White Stripes, my doorbell. The White Stripes broken up in 2011. They were formed in the 90s and had, big success in the early noughties, all the way through the noughties. There was a lot of speculation when they first got together. It was a man and a woman, and they would never confirm what their relationship was, whether they were married, whether they were brother and sister. They always said they were brother and sister, actually. And it emerged a few years into their career, and someone found a wedding certificate or marriage certificate for them, and it turned out they were a husband and wife who got divorced but still managed to keep making music together. They've had lots of hits. One of their others that comes to mind is Seven Nation Army, which Jack White said was his, what he thought the Salvation Army was when he was a kid. He thought it was the Seven Nation Army. Anyway, they've had 6 studio albums. As I said, they broke up in 2011. They've done lots of other side projects, particularly Jack. He was in the Raconteurs as well. He's still working on various other projects at the moment as well. Anyway, that's the White Stripes, and there's some music from bands with a bit of color. So don't steal music.